Do you like cutting edge? Do you like the car that's not like any other car ever? The car with all the new tech, all the new fun things. But we're here at Sunnyside Acura today to show you the car that matches all those things. In a world where hybrids and electrical cars are the norm, this one was the first one to do it. 1, 2, 3. Hey everybody, and welcome back to What It's Like to Drive. I am your host Primo, and what do I have here? This is a 2017 Acura NSX. It has a 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo making 573 horsepower. This thing is a monster. Now, you might be asking yourself right now, so what's so special about a hybrid? Well, unlike cars today that are kind of built with the hybrid aspect being put into the afterthought of it and being added just kind of the way it was forced to be, this car was designed to be the way it is. It has 3 electric motors. 2 motors up front will actually torque vector in your steering. It'll help you assist in steering. It'll help you take off where your gas-powered motor might be a little bit lax with the get up and go. And unlike other cars, it's not going to be a charge-oriented thing. You put the gas tank in, you fill it up, and you go have fun with it. So I've been very hard on the new NSX, and the reason is because I'm a huge fan of the original NSX. I hope at some point to bring an NSX on the show so we can drive it and show you guys what the beauty of the cars and why they hold their value so well. Back then, the NSX was facing off against brands like Ferrari, and they were selling a car that was so much cheaper with the same level of performance. It really forced Ferrari to step up their game, and that's when they brought out the 355, and they started to focus on more driver-friendly cars. So when this NSX made its comeback, the real question I had to ask was, what's it competing against? At the time, cars like GTRs and Corvettes, they had kind of a corner on the market on speed. They had a lot of technology. So I kind of wondered how a hybrid was going to compete against that. Well, unlike those hybrids that are coming out now that are kind of an afterthought, this vehicle was designed to have this inside of it. It was designed to cooperate with the electric motors. It was designed to be able to handle this kind of dynamics and be another level of technology that people hadn't really thought about yet. It was well ahead of its time. Unfortunately, at the same time, that way ahead of its time thinking ended up being a crutch, because at the time people were still wary about, was it taking more to repair or maintain an electric motor? How did it do differently? What's the cost associated with it? And a lot of people were kind of technology averse. I, for one, like my Mercedes with as little technology as I could possibly get in it. So when I saw this, I was kind of wary about what I was seeing. But even when I was hard on this for being in that market and competing against other things, I started realizing that that was the beauty of the car. It had done something that nobody else had done before. So today we're going to kind of think about that. At the same time, we're going to find out, you know what? What's it like to drive? What's the cost to maintain a car like this? And what are some of the pitfalls that you're going to have if you buy a car that's as hybrid as this? Let's find out right now. All right. I got myself an Acura NSX here, and I don't know, this is the word intimidating, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Right now it's just like totally dead, but in a second now I'm going to press the button and it's going to come to life. Closing this up, I gotta wait for the guy that runs this whole shindig to get in the car. I see an engine start button. Should I press that?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. I got the key in my hand, but the beauty is I don't need it in the little socket here. And as always, safety first, or in my case, safety like second, third, somewhere in there, maybe fourth or fifth. Oh, whoa! That mirror took off on me. Ah, okay, so it's kind of an inverted thing. Get me nuts with it.
100%.
Man, God, this feels like a race car. I love the buttons on this. So there's a little park button, a reverse button, a neutral button. The reverse button you have to pull back, and it just went silent. It's making no noise. It's all electrical now. Ah, it's so cool. So where's the button for sport mode? Oh, it has a dial. Oh my God, look at that. Okay, there's a track setting. I'm gonna stay away from it. But anyway, and in fact, you know what? Because we're trying to see what this thing is like on the road. And I don't want to break in on day one. We're gonna keep it on sport right now. I know I want to go sport plus, but I have people around here that, you know, want to choose life. See, we get in these other cars and you get these real big, powerful cars or whatever, these companies that, you know, they hype all this stuff, but they do too much. I get in this car, it's all simple, like same buttons, same stuff. I know what I'm in. It's like a normal car and very smooth. Interesting grumbly engine. I can feel the grittiness on the road. It's very, like, I feel a lot of communication coming from the road up to the driver itself. And that is, I like that. That's the thing, is a lot of people complain about all these cars, especially BMW. BMW, the driving stance and everything about it is very numb. You get to this thing and I'm feeling a lot of input all around.
There you go.
I'm like, this is the first.
So once we get...
Thanks. The other cool thing about this is if you need to get out in front of everybody, it's got plenty of power. How much horsepower it says?
573.
573 horsepower. Okay, nice. It's got the vectoring stuff on it. So if I get crazy with this and I want to take a right, or maybe I miss my turn, I'm going to turn it. That left wheel over here is going to be intuitive enough to say, by the way, I need more power. It's going to put power to that edge. Thank God everybody on the road is driving normally today. Except for me. I love that when you hear the engine just kind of cuts off and then it's like, I'm ready to go. It wakes right up. We're going to a serious place to drive right now. This is going to be really good. And that's the thing is this car, I like the highway stuff with this, but really it is such a back road driver. Now we have 260 miles of range. I'm just saying. People see this car as a hybrid and I think they see it wrong. This isn't like a BMW i8 that's just some quiet car that sits around. When this thing wakes up, it grumbles, it gets angry, it says, I want to go. I mean, I think it's mad at me right now because I'm going 30 at stoplights, but I mean, it is what it is, so I think it understands. But the thing is that's what I feel about this. It does so well. What it masters is being good at both the low end speed, being able to kind of sit around and do its own thing, and then go, hey, I'm awake, I want to hit the track, let's do something productive. And it jumps right into the role and says, I'm here for you. And unlike some of these other brands out there, and I hate to name names, but I'm going to say Ferrari, with they kind of put in hybrid as an afterthought. This car had hybrid put in it from the get-go. It was designed to be this car. Before everybody else was thinking about doing what was being done, this car was the one already in the driver's seat saying, let's see how to do this. And I don't think people appreciate it enough, and that's what I think is the real crime for the NSX. And as we said this on other shows, I'm going to say it again. When you get in a car and you're driving and you don't think about the car you're in, I'm not thinking, the seat is comfortable, really good seat, by the way. When you're in a comfortable seat, when you're in a good dynamic situation, when you're not worried about flippers and buttons and all this other stuff, which, I mean, a lot of these companies out there fail at because they think about technology from the side of the driver. And drivers like to think about the drive. So I'm in this car right now and I'm thinking about the drive. I'm thinking about my scenery and the feelings of it. But the underpinning of the car is still reminding me that it's there and it's behind me wherever I'm going. So I want to know how this is I'm going to get in this car in the morning. I'm going to get up at 6, 7 in the morning. I'm going to do my run. I'm going to get in my car, and I want that same positive vibe that's pushing me through the day to push me when I get in a car. And I'm telling you, man, you gotta get in something that drives you. You can't just get in a car that says, I'm gonna get you from point A to point B. All you people out there that say you're not car people, drive one of these cars and you will literally look up and go, okay, I didn't realize how much I was missing being a car person and knowing about some of this stuff. Like, yeah, a car like this will take you so far. And it's so crazy how much it makes a difference. Oh, listen, I love that electric hybrid motor, when it kicks in, it has this little wheezing noise that it's just like that. It has this little slick noise, and you can still kind of hear the engine in the back, kind of it's there. And then that electric engine kicks in, and you know it's kind of doing that meet and greet between the two motors. And that's the thing, is hybrid motors, that's what they're for. They're for the takeoff. And they get up and go where, you know, these combustion engines can't take it. The mating of these two engines is just, it's something that needs to happen from a design standpoint of getting something normalized. And the problem is I think that a lot of cars today are not moving towards the merging of the two perfections and kind of saying we're going to pick one or the other. And I think that's, I mean, driving this car makes you feel that way. This car feels like it's 10 pounds. It feels like a little go-kart, and it shouldn't. But the reason it does, and this was the secret of all the big luxury cars had, was they were like apply a lot of torque. But if you want to have a big performance car, you can't have a lot of torque. You want to have a lot of horsepower. So the thing is this will have the electric motors that'll assist with the motor, the main engine in the back. And now you have this perfect symphony that's going on underneath you, and you'll never feel it happening, but you'll sense it. Your body will go, I feel solid. I feel glued to the road. Yeah, this car, if people missed out on it, I'm sorry for you. You're missing out on an experience. This is what I call the future of cars. This is the way we need to do it, because we can meet in that perfect middle ground and have cars that, I mean, if I wanted to turn this all the way down and just say, hey, I'm going to cruise around, you'll hear that electric motor kicking in all the time. It's just going to cruise around. It's not going to use a lot of power, and I still get to plug it up to my gas pump and fill it up, and I don't have to worry about charging stations and any of that other crazy stuff. Oh, I love that. It actually, that nice torque matched revs as it comes down off the gears. When I'm coming down the hill, it's actually torque braking. I never felt that in a car before. Man, Acura, you guys, they really are underestimated as a company as a whole. I really just think that, and people just look at stuff like Integras and all this other stuff about smaller engines, but the performance that they put into these things is all about that perfect balance of finding that fine razor's edge that does everything you need it to do all in one car, and you cannot beat that. This is the road that really puts this car into perspective for you, and I think that's just awesome. I'm so glad that we did the automatic setup in this, because it really did give you the idea that this thing knows how to shift automatic, and that's something that automatic companies haven't gotten right. A 9-speed dual clutch.
That's correct.
No wonder it's so linear. You get in this, you kind of want to smooth with it, kind of get used to it, kind of get accustomed, but the more you're in it, the faster you want to go. And it does, I want to say, almost gives you that false sense of security too, because you'll want to get into these back roads, and these back roads just, it nimbles its way through them. It's like, oh yeah, I can take this a lot faster. And I think it'll be careful if you get one, because it'll really just it'll want to take you for a ride. Oh, and good visibility. Side view mirrors, perfect. Seeing out the back, usually these things, a lot of these faster cars have very, very, very small picture windows. And I really like the feel of how I can see out this. Very clear, nothing gets in the way. All right, guys, I am pulling in now. I am ready to, oh, somebody's being nice enough to let me in. I am about ready to sit down right now and review this car. I am really psyched to go over details with it. Okay, so what is it like to drive? Wow, like phenomenal. I could not believe how well this car drove, and the way it catches balance in its design. It's a car that knows where it fits in. A lot of cars try to be performance when they're not performance, or be daily drivable when they're not daily drivable. What I love about this car is how it finds its niche. Like, it's sitting at a light and the engine seems to shut off, and it just sits there and kind of waits, but that electric motor is ready to go, and then it spools up and you can hear the electrical kick in. And then you hear the engine when it's just driving around, it just kind of wants to idle and humble. But when it hits that perfect area and you slap that pedal down, you can hear the grind of that engine just wanting to throw more power at you. You can actually hear a blow-off valve in it. So, man, this car really is that perfect balance between why we like imports and why we like exotics. Yes, I do see one problem with the car, and that is when you first get in it, I don't think you want to go that fast. You want to go in it and kind of, inch your way up to speed and get faster and faster. Well, that's the problem is I never felt a part where I didn't want to go faster. Because of the torque vectoring, because of the way the car operates and all the technology that's underneath, it's, by the way, completely invisible, and I would never even knew it existed if I didn't do the work beforehand to know it. But all that stuff is working in the background, and it's making that driving experience so much more, I want to say, thrilling, because you kind of feel like I can go as fast as I want. And that's the idea, is you probably will get yourself into trouble if you keep jumping on that bandwagon and listening to that voice in the back of your head. So even when I was driving, I kept going, okay, this is your first time doing this, don't get crazy with it. And the beauty is this car, once you're ready for it, it's going to be ready to throw on that power and give you all the power in the world. A lot of cars, I feel that they really do well on the highway. This thing loved back roads, and I just, man, how many cars that we had back in the day that was like, I don't want a highway drive, I want to get on the back roads and really show you what a car like this can do. It really stepped its game up, and I'm really impressive. It was more exhilarating. I mean, everybody says hybrids are dull and lame and, unfeeling. Everything that I drove in this car, I could feel it. It translated to that steering wheel. It translated to the pedal. I could feel the ground beneath me. I was really getting adjusted of something that was more like a war horse that it told you everything and gave you every bit of input that it needed to. And that's what an exciting car should be. Okay, so what's the maintenance like? Well, just like any other car, you're going to bring it in once a year. You're going to probably get an oil change. They're going to go over the vehicle and check it out. But they're pretty solid. They're built well. So I wouldn't expect anything to break. I mean, 2017, drove it the whole way, didn't have any problems with it, didn't hiccup or anything. Obviously, with a car like this, you do want to take care of it. I mean, it's an investment, and sometimes some of these investments can become returns down the road. So that's a process you want to think about in your head. But yeah, you're going to probably spend about $470 for an oil change every year. And like I said, just keep up with it and enjoy the car. So what are some of the pitfalls with this car? Well, I didn't really see any. I did research too. I really tried my best to see if there was something that I should worry about. There's cars that have aftermarket with them, aftermarket exhaust, all sorts of crazy things, and I couldn't find one that broke. So in reality, all these things that they were telling me about, these hybrids being issues and all the problems and everything, I didn't see it. Now, I have to kind of accentuate that with, again, this car was designed to be this way. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to see. Maybe down the road with some of these other cars, you're going to see some problems and things that you probably have to worry about. But, I mean, I just drove it on back roads. I drove it on a highway. I took it up to speed. I heard one rock hit the car. That was it. And I even felt kind of bad that happened. But on a whole, it just translated well. So my thing is yeah, just drive it and enjoy it and make sure you keep up with your maintenance. And yeah, if you want to do some fun stuff to it, I'm sure there's stuff out there to do it. And yeah, just have fun. Okay, so what's my final grade on the NSX? A+. Now, here's the critical question that we got to ask, and I knew I was going to have to address it today, and I was kind of loathing it, to be honest. The more I drove, the more it came up, and that is this a daily driver? Now, the statement is kind of more it can be, but I think in the long run, you're not going to want it to be. Now, why do I stipulate with that? This car wants to go fast. It wants to go fast all the time. It'd be really tough for me not to just go to work every morning going 150 miles per hour, but you can't really do that, and I wouldn't suggest anybody doing it. So the thing is like, yeah, you probably could if you really wanted to, but I just don't think you want to. I think you're going to take this, and it's going to be a weekend car, a track car. It can do a lot of different things, but being a daily driver, so here's my suggestion. Drive an NSX. Drive this car and tell me what you think. Because I think you're going to be very, very, very impressed by the feel that you get from this. You know, all you other companies out there, maybe here's your opportunity to take a little advice from a car that really does nail it on all different fronts and really does tell me this is a future I can live with. I hope you guys love the video today. This has been great on what it's like to drive. I love this experience. I was really looking forward to it. It's kind of weird getting in a $175,000 car and just trying to tell myself, don't crash it and just focus on driving. But we did it. We got from the thing is I don't think it would let me crash if I tried to. But yeah, it was quite the experience. It's something I really wanted to share. And this is huge shout out to Sunnyside Acura in Nashua, New Hampshire. If you guys get a chance to come up here, check out some of their inventory. They were great to let us come out and test drive this car. So we're going to do our next thing. It's going to be the next search for the big car, the next big thing. I mean, we keep saying how we're going to outdo the next car, and I mean, we keep outdoing the last car. So, and you know what? Even in the last storm, I'm doing this with a hurricane looming and coming in. So, hey, we beat another storm out of the way. I mean, this is getting great. I can't wait to show you the next one. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, stay tuned. Check out these other videos. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Make sure you check more of this stuff out, man. This is great stuff. We love doing it, and we want to see more support from the car community. Support like these guys give. So thank you for your time, and as always, don't forget to drive.